The heart monitor beeped erratically. Blood pulled beneath the gurney as nurses frantically pushed her toward the ICU. BP's dropping fast. "We need the family to approve surgery now," the doctor barked. Her phone was in her trembling hand. She could barely see through the blur of pain and tears, but she dialed the only person she thought would rush to her side. "Mom," she whispered, her voice cracking. "I'm in the hospital. Bad car crash. They need you here to sign for surgery." There was a pause. Then her mother's voice came. Cold, steady, and devastating. "Can't come. Your brother's promotion party." And just like that, she realized she was worth less than champagne and applause. But they didn't know one thing. If she survived, they'd pay for this. Isabella Harper had always been the forgotten child. Her older brother, Nathan, was a golden boy, the straight A student turned corporate success story. Their parents beamed with pride at his every accomplishment. Meanwhile, Isabella's achievements were dismissed as cute hobbies or not real careers. At 27, she worked as an investigative journalist, a job that brought her meaning but little money. She had exposed corrupt politicians, shady business owners, and even the legal adoption ring. Yet her parents barely acknowledged it. Family gatherings were always the same. Nathan at the center, Isabella somewhere on the edge, holding a glass of wine and pretending not to notice how invisible she was. Her mother, Veronica Harper, was the queen of appearances. Pearls, pristine nails, and a smile sharp enough to cut glass. Her father, Charles, was quieter, but just as complicit, never once defending her when her achievements were overshadowed. And Nathan, he wasn't cruel. He just didn't see her. To him, she was the kid's sister who never quite measured up. In the weeks leading up to the night, Nathan had been boasting about his big promotion, vice president of operations at his firm. There was going to be a lavish party at the Rosewood Hotel ballroom, catered with photographers, champagne towers, and every influential family in attendance. Veronica had been obsessing over for months. The guest list is perfect. The decor is perfect, and this party will finally put our family where it belongs socially. Isabella was invited, but more as an afterthought, a seat tucked at the end of the table, far from the action. She had considered not going at all. She didn't know, yet she wouldn't get the chance. It was raining that evening. Not the soft, misty kind of rain, the brutal, blinding sheets that make headlights useless. Isabella had just wrapped up an interview for an expose she was working on, one that could potentially bring down a major construction firm accused of embezzlement. She was tired, hungry, and looking forward to a quiet night at home. Her car was halfway across the intersection when she saw the truck. It blew the red light at full speed. The sound was deafening, metal folding into metal, glass shattering. Her body flung sideways, her head slamming against the window. Pain exploded in her chest, her legs pinned under the dashboard. Someone was screaming. It took her a moment to realize it was her. By the time paramedics arrived, she was drifting in and out of consciousness. Severe internal bleeding. One of them said, "She needs surgery, ASAP." Another replied. In the ICU, the surgeon explained that they needed immediate consent for a risky but necessary operation. The hospital had tried reaching her parents. No answer. Isabella, barely able to move her fingers, managed to unlock her phone and call her mother. When she heard the words, "Can't come. Your brother's promotion party," something inside her shattered. "Mom, I could die," she whispered. Her mother's sigh was almost annoyed. "Isabella, don't be dramatic. I'm sure the doctors can do something until we get there. We can't just leave in the middle of the event. People will talk," and then she hung up. The nurse's eyes widened. "They're not coming." "No," Isabella murmured, her voice trembling, but now laced with something else. Rage. By sheer will, and the surgeon's decision to bend protocol and sign off under emergency life preservation, the operation went ahead without parental consent. It was grueling. 2 L of blood lost 3 hours under the knife. When she woke in recovery, her body felt like it was stitched together with fire. But she was alive, and as she lay there staring at the sterile ceiling, a single thought crystallized. They chose him over me. They left me to die. And in that moment, Isabella Harper decided she would never beg for their love again, but she would make sure they'd regret it. 3 days later, Isabella was stable enough to sit up, though every movement felt like a knife in her ribs. The nurse informed her that her parents had called once, not to check on her progress, but to ask when she could be discharged so she wouldn't rack up unnecessary medical bills. Her chest burned with something hotter than physical pain. They didn't visit, not once. But Nathan, he came not to apologize, but to tell her about the party. "You should have seen it, Izzy," he said with a boyish grin, wearing his custom-tailored Navy suit. "It was amazing. The mayor even showed up. Mom said people were asking about you. Though we told them she was just feeling a bit unwell, just under the weather. But in reality, she had been on the brink of death. Yet to them, the truth was nothing more than an inconvenience." That evening, as the hospital corridors quieted down, Isabella gazed out at the city lights through the window. The painkillers blurred her mind, but one vision kept returning: Nathan's promotion celebration, her parents beaming, glasses of champagne raised, while she lay bleeding alone in a sterile room. A faint, bitter smile crept across her lips. If they treasured their social status so deeply, she would take it from them, openly, irrevocably. Revenge, she understood, demanded patience. She was an investigative journalist. Her tools were precision and endurance. Her first move was to investigate Nathan's new company. Quietly, it was already under scrutiny for illicit kickbacks tied to government contracts, exactly the kind of scandal she could expose widely. But she wouldn't stop there. Her goal was to dismantle not only his professional life, but also her parents' entire social standing. Her strategy unfolded in 3 stages. Isolation. Turn them against each other, sow doubt within their ranks, fracture their polished facade from the inside. Exposure. Unearth their darkest secrets, and reveal them at the most damaging moments. Destruction. Leave them stripped of everything. No reputation, no allies, no refuge. Isabella began with subtle rumors. She anonymously fed tips to society columnists, insinuating Nathan's promotion was purchased, not earned. Whispers circulated about blackmailing a senior executive. Nothing definitive, just enough to breed suspicion. She also sent carefully worded letters to her parents' closest acquaintances, expressing gratitude for their support during her hospitalization, but adding, "It was especially meaningful to see others step up, since my own family was absent." Veronica's phone soon buzzed incessantly with uncomfortable inquiries. People politely questioned whether she really had skipped her daughter's surgery to attend a party. The cracks started to appear. Months later, fully recovered, Isabella intensified her efforts. Using contacts developed through her journalism career, she obtained damning emails from Nathan's company showing illicit payments, bid rigging, and an offshore account registered in Nathan's name. But she held back from releasing them immediately. She waited for the perfect occasion. The annual Harper Family Charity Gala, the highlight of her parents' social calendar, where photographers gathered and every influential politician attended. The grand ballroom shimmered beneath golden chandeliers, alive with polite chatter. Veronica stood near the entrance, stunning in a floor-length gown, Nathan beside her in a sleek black tuxedo. Cameras flashed, and suddenly, the big screen intended to show a charity video flickered and switched to a slideshow displaying confidential company emails, bank transfers, and photos of Nathan meeting known corporate criminals. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Nathan froze. Veronica's wine glass slipped from her hand, shattering against the marble floor. Then came a voiceover, Isabella's voice, calm, sharp, and unyielding. While the Harpers savored their champagne, the city suffered for their greed. The final image lingered, a blood-smeared hospital gurney stamped with the timestamp of Nathan's promotion night. Silence engulfed the room, broken only by murmurs, the glow of phones capturing the scene, and reporters whispering headlines. By dawn, Nathan was suspended pending an official investigation. His company's stock plunged. Veronica's social circle turned cold, refusing her calls. Yet Isabella's work was far from over. She sold an in-depth expose to a national newspaper, including her personal account of being abandoned in the ICU. She initially withheld her family's names, but the accompanying photos made the identity unmistakable. The fallout was ruthless. Their flawless reputation crumbled overnight. Half a year later, Nathan faced federal charges. Legal expenses drained her parents' fortune. They sold their vacation home, then the family estate. One evening, as Isabella was leaving work, she spotted Veronica waiting by the steps. Her once perfect hair was disheveled, her pearls missing. "Isabella," she said softly, "we lost everything. Your father's ill. Nathan's behind bars. We need your help." Isabella looked at her for a long moment, memories of that fateful night flooding back. "You needed me once," she said quietly. "I was bleeding to death. You chose a party." Without another word, she stepped into her car and drove off, leaving her mother standing alone in the cold. Isabella never forgave or reconciled with them. She didn't gloat. She didn't have to. Their downfall was irrevocable. Her career thrived. She gained renown for fearless reporting, for never yielding to pressure, for demanding truth no matter the cost. And every time she passed a Rosewood Hotel, she remembered that night, the night they chose champagne over her life. She smiled, knowing one truth they never taught her. Family isn't defined by blood. Family is who shows up when you're bleeding. And sometimes, those who don't must face the consequences the hard way. The end.